Hello there, Sister Wives watchers and chick chatters. We are back with Sister Wives episode 18. They're kicking this episode off with Meri and her new dog. She's got a new dog. Not Jen. She's got the same Jen, but a new dog.
New dog. Same Jen.
Same Jen.
So Meri explains to us that she has been petting all the dogs and giving all the dogs love because they all need loves and pets. And she met Zona and they fell in love and they needed each other. So now she has this dog. I was so focused on the dog in the story. I thought it was so precious. I did not realize that Jen's petty self walked herself out on the porch with Meri and said, "Isn't it so ironic how we're just going to sit on the front porch together?" This woman is gold.
I bet that's the line that set Cody off. Ditch them bitches because it was a slight towards Robin.
He's got to ditch himself.
I think, though, that he was shown a different scene at that time because there's only one other lady in this video. So I think he might have been shown the one scene where they're all like at a couch at her friend's house or something talking about him.
Possible.
Only Jen over there. He talking about the dog too?
She also had those one girls over for that tea party.
Well, that's what I mean, is that I think he was shown those clips, like all these clips in succession, and they wanted to seem like he's only talking about Jen. There's just Jen here, unless I'm blind.
Jen is the one that seems to know everything. I didn't know about the Tea Party girls so much. I know that the Brandy girl was there for most of Las Vegas, so okay, fine. But Jen is well known by even Christine and Janelle's kids, as far as I know. Mm-hmm. So she really is a family friend. I don't know. I value her opinion about the family, even though obviously it's biased towards Meri, but I think she has a very realistic stance. And I was really happy that she told Meri that the person who has been the most honest with her thus far is Janelle.
Yeah, Meri reminisces on the little visit she had with Janelle, which at the time we all said was awkward. Janelle came to try to warn Meri, and Meri was like, "Well, can't we all just get along?" And then Jen rolls her eyes so hard that she about knocked herself out.
And I just rolled my eyes. I didn't even mean to, but I did. I don't know why Meri was in such denial, even after, seems like right after the divorce with all the grinding and the moving and the trusting, it seemed like she was even more in denial for a while. She's not anymore. I do understand that. But even still, Jen is having to remind her that she has to be prickly, be a cactus. She has to fight for what it is that she wants.
I mean, I think Meri has probably for the last 10 years or so been a little bit of a pushover towards Cody because she wants that marriage to work. But I think overall, Meri has definitely fought for what she wanted. I think that's why so many people have had issues with her. So I don't think Meri has a problem doing that. I just think she doesn't do it at the right times for the right things.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
She wants the wet bar, but she's fine with living alone for 10 years.
But she paid for that wet bar. I didn't realize that.
Side note about this wet bar. I'm gonna just get this out. I'm the only one who thought a wet bar was a bar in a pool. It's a counter. Why is everybody making a deal about Meri getting a counter?
It's not just a counter. A wet bar, it has a sink too.
Oh, the sink counter. Oh my goodness. Meri got a counter with a sink.
It's like a bar. Like basically an island with a sink. That's the best way to dumb it down.
It looked like just a regular counter that.
The problem with the wet bar was that the builders that were building the house only had so many layouts. And if you wanted a wet bar, you needed to have a 5-bedroom home. There was no option to take the wet bar into a 2, 3, even 4-bedroom home. The ways that the houses were built to be approved in all the blueprints, you could only have the biggest house. So that was really the problem, was that she insisted on a wet bar, but really what she was insisting on, it was a 5-bedroom home bigger than anyone else's house. And I still think Meri should be able to do whatever she wants, especially if she paid for that motherfucker. But that's really what she was arguing for, and she was being purposefully obtuse about it's a wet bar. It was like 2 extra bedrooms and a study and a wet bar.
Oh, so it was a whole package? Because to me, I'm like, why couldn't they just build her a blueprint with a wet bar in it? It's literally like 3 extra counters next to each other. I do it in The Sims.
When I was watching it, I was frustrated with these builders because I'm like, you guys are builders. I think the problem was that if they were going to redo a blueprint that's already approved by whoever, wherever they are, Cody, it would have taken a lot more time, which they didn't want to do either.
I bet Kody said to one of those people, if my wives ask you for anything, just tell them you can't do it. There's not a blueprint for it and you can't do it. Just tell them that. Save us all some heartache.
There was an episode where they all sat down with the builder, somebody who was in charge of their mortgages and all of that, and really decided what they can afford with what finishes they were picking and all of that. And Meri was way over budget because her house was giant. I personally don't care. Like I said, especially if she paid for that.
Yeah, if she paid for it.
She can pay for whatever she wants.
Why does Robin get 6 bedrooms and doesn't have to get a gerb?
That's a good question.
So Meri has a gerb and can't have a wet bar.
The way that family was situated, Kody created that family and all those women to hate each other so that they didn't have a revolt. That's what's happened. They've revolted.
Speaking of Kody, actually, we see him start showing this man who I think has to be a producer plant because there's absolutely no way any regular realtor is going to sit and listen through all of the stuff he sat and listened through.
You know, I think realtors are like angels sent from heaven. They have the patience and the grit, I feel like, of gods. There's no other profession where you have to just stand around and listen to somebody complain and what they want and blah, 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 blah. And then maybe they might just say, you know what, F off, I changed my mind. When you're a realtor, you have to literally drive to people's house to house to house to show them houses, spend your gas, spend your time. It's like a whole thing.
Do you not think he could have been a producer plant? I mean, he
I
seems
think that's fair. I think that's a fair assumption.
very
but
comfortable.
I want
with
to
the
give
man's filling off.
realtors credit where it's due because I know that they do not care as much about the way that they act that they care about all of us because it's all about money at the end of the day. He's going to be nice to Kody because Kody has 14 acres with a beautiful view. So he's going to come there with a smile and listen to his bullshit regardless. It really don't matter.
Let's call a spade a spade. Like, Kody only values the opinions of other men, so he flourishes when he's around another man. If you would have brought a woman over here, Kody would not be acting like this.
I think he could be a producer plant, but Kody would never have a woman over here. Janelle has a real estate license. She could have sold this if Kody cared to have a woman involved.
She got hers in Vegas, so maybe she couldn't in where they're at, but
possible. But Kody even goes as far as to make sure that what's his name, Justin, knows about the hierarchy here within the family. He says, I have these partners, 2 of them are my ex-wives.
He said 4, and he said 2 of them were his ex-wives. I'm like,
I noticed
math?
I know. He must have forgot that one of them really left. But he says right here, when you get an offer, present that to me, and I will email it to them. He's still trying to get the patriarchy going. He wants to make sure that he's in charge of everything. I don't even know, honestly, if that's ethical. I don't have my real estate license, never studied it. But I know a lot of times if there are equal stakeholders, the person who's making a deal with any stakeholder needs to have all the stakeholders at the table.
Right.
In a lot of cases, like I know even sometimes companies who install like windows and roofs and contractors, if you own a home with someone else, they won't come have a meeting with you unless you're both there. So you can both make the decision so one doesn't back out. Or I just don't think this is even allowed. So again, maybe he is a producer plant just to come have this weird ass conversation with Kody.
Maybe Kody doesn't even know he's a producer plant kind of
that
thing.
Would be even better. I think
That'd
he's
great.
trickable.
Well, I mean, bless his heart, he really does think he's doing something here. I think because he thinks people don't want this land, that he's entitled to just do whatever without communicating to everybody, and then that everybody's nagging him. And I'm like, well, if you were just communicating with people and telling them what you were doing, maybe they would be okay with it. Maybe because his name is on all the lots is why he can do this. But he makes a point to even say, I bought a lot all by myself, so I was thinking about keeping that lot, selling these ones, blah, 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 blah. Didn't Meri also pay equal part? And you're saying that she can't have equal part because she has but one child.
Yeah, but one.
He had 18 of them. And that's all he had to say to that. Nothing else.
No, he had to stop himself from getting into it. He ends up calling his ex-wives a bunch of nags. Meri shoots back with the whole, well, if you didn't love me, I guess anytime I talk or breathe or exist is a nag.
She ain't wrong either. I mean, it's been pretty apparent that that's how he's viewed it for a long time. He's upset about you getting some counters, girl.
Kody did also mention when he was on the property here in this first part, he wasn't sure still if he wanted to sell it all or not, if he wanted to keep that lot.
He's the worst salesman in the world. He's like, oh yeah, look at this beautiful view. Oh, I got some junk over there. Oh yeah, I don't know why I have this pond here. What do you mean you don't know why you have a pond there?
The pond is here, to be honest with you. But when it's full, it's fun.
And then why
He never knew
tell
why.
this man that the last time you ever went skinny dipping was with your family?
It's only like the second or third, well, it's about the third time in my life I ever went skinny dipping, and it was with my family.
He never knew then why the pond was there. He only knew that it was filled with poop water.
When it's full, it's fun.
Didn't know why. I'm pretty sure when they bought that land, the realtor and the person they bought the land from was like, you shouldn't have your kids out here playing in the mud because these certain types of birds poop out here and it's like toxic. And then months later, he has all his kids out there in still water.
When it's full, it's fun.
This is not a pond. This is
But he had
still water. The Lord, nobody died.
Thank goodness there was no COVID in that water.
Well, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing here. I'm not laughing. I haven't been laughing.
I know.
Well, the pond thing too. It's like, how do you just say that randomly in conversation? Oh yeah, he's got down to my skivvies, and my son got down to his skivvies, and then my daughters were on the pond too. Like, do you realize if this man isn't a producer plant, he should be a mandated reporter?
About the third time in my life I ever went skinny dipping, and it was with my family.
I would be concerned a little. Like, why is this man telling me he went skinny dipping with his children? Skinny dipping.
Third time in my life I ever went skinny dipping, and it was with my family.
What is
Skinny dipping?
I think you mean you like just jumped in the pond with your clothes on. Like, don't be saying you went skinny dipping with the kids.
Skivvies. I don't even know what that really means. Like, what is the definition of a skivvy?
Cody talks so crazy, and like when he's all up with a guy like this, he's so much more animated. And when he's with a guy, it gives me a little bit of PTSD. Not in like a, my dad kind of talks like that. So when he gets really excited about something, like, oh yeah, like that's never gonna happen. That sounded exactly like my dad. So I was like, oh no, oh no. So I prefer it when Cody's miserable around the women than when he's all happy around the guys, because it starts making me.
You do?
Yes, he sounds so much like my dad when he was talking to this guy. Like my dad doesn't say these things that Cody Brown says, but he's talks
It's like your dad is a great man.
Yeah, no, but he talks in a similar manner, like Cody when he's excited. Like
the same.
like he'll start
tone and
telling like
cadence.
the big thing, and then he'll be like, "But you know that doesn't." Like the way like he shifts is the same way that my dad shifts, and it's just it gets me a little
The
bit.
shift he shifted. Now that you're gonna pick up on it, when he was like, "My wife lived in the RV. Don't do the RV."
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yes.
Oh, Cody. Skivvy is your underwear.
Exactly. Why would you get skivvies with your kids? I don't know. Anyways, you know,
Underwear is fine with your kids.
I guess, but no, I just feel like it's a weird thing to say to a realtor on a whim.
I just would have been jarred and was jarred, always will be jarred to see the skivvies that were skivvying on his body that day.
The fact that they were showing us the clips of them jumping in this pond, this dirty water, and then voiceovering over it, like the guy acting like he's excited by this story with Cody, like, oh yeah, sounds crazy. Like just
It was
realtor
wild.
man out of his misery and just show up in their land.
It was wild.
These weird stories. Oh, I had an ex that lived in an RV. I don't recommend that. I was a polygamist and now I guess I'm monogamous. I think I was a polygamist for 30 years and I moved around for like what? Nobody cares about any of that. If you're going to sell property, just go and talk about the property. Like that's what a normal person would do. You don't have to give them your life story, do you? Or am I crazy? When I buy a house, is my realtor going to ask me about my deep dark past?
I mean, no. I do find a lot of realtors try to become your friends if they're not already your friends. Usually you already know a realtor, so they just get to know you more. But I mean, it is an intimate thing to look at homes with people. You be like, this is where our kids might live, or this is what we need. And, your house is like one of your most intimate things. So I do think you do get close with your realtor, but if you are selling a plot of land with some trash and a dried up poop water, I don't think you need to let him know that this was your Shangri-La. This is just a land with a view. Sell it quickly for as much money as possible. Talk to you later.
Well, that's
By
so
the way,
telling.
there's other people involved in this deal.
Well, it's so telling because he says when he meets up with the realtor that basically Robin was the last give up on this dream. So now that she's finally given up, now he's talking to realtors. Well, did it matter anyways? When Janelle and Meri gave up and they're the actual stakeholders in this, did it really matter? I mean, if they don't want to live there, what are you doing? You're still gonna have to buy them out or sell their land and give it to them. When Janelle asked you about buying her out, why didn't you then just say, how about we collectively sell the land and then we split it 3 ways, not 4? Because stop counting Robin as a person. She's not. She's attached to you. Your finances are together. So you're giving you and Robin 50%, and then you're going to split 50% between Meri and Janelle. And Robin paid what exactly? She has a nanny for her kids, and she hasn't contributed to what? What do you mean, Sister Wives Closet, where she put y'all in debt?
Yeah.
No, you're going in debt over this woman. And now you got to have this multi-million-dollar house. When you sold the last one, were you walking around talking about like, oh yeah, this was great. This was great. Oh, and then I dropped a tree over here, but yeah, I don't know what that was about. But then over here, I got like, what is
Counting
wrong?
Robin as a person is just the best way for them to walk away with all the money. But I hear you on that. I really do hear you on that. I wonder, could she have contributed money?
From what?
That's why I'm. That's why
What
I'm.
talents
perplexed.
she have? I mean,
That's
other
why
than
I'm
her
perplexed.
TLC portion, what is she bringing to the table?
Maybe just that. But they were getting paid as a family when they were a family. They just recently started getting paid individually. They were getting paid into like the family LLC, and that was just
Right.
in their family fund. So, I mean, it's not really Robin's money, it's the family's money. When they sat down to pay the final amount, whatever was left in the last couple of episodes or whatever, who cut checks? Obviously, Janelle did. Obviously, Meri did. Obviously, Cody did. What did Robin do?
What did Robin contribute to this land? Was it actually a 4th? Because why would Meri only get a 4th if she paid a 3rd?
I wonder if Cody just decided Christine's portion is now going to become Robin's portion. Because Christine made a deal with Cody, not with the rest of the family, which there's some stickiness to that. I think that could be unpacked a little bit, but Christine made a deal with Cody. So I wonder if Cody just decided her portion, whatever, is just going to be Robin's. But still, none of it's right. It's all shady. Yeah, they should split it
into thirds almost. They've all contributed to that family fund regardless, besides probably Robin, in my opinion. But Janelle and Meri have definitely contributed to whatever family fund over at least a period of time. If you're going to get a clean break with them, at least give them a third, I think, of the
Or
land.
maybe like 40, 30, 30. It'd still be better than splitting it 4 ways, which would be 25% for everyone. They'd get 50%. And when we're talking about $1 million+ piece of land, 5% more is not chump change.
Bought this other house, this other $2 million house. They still technically own this land as far as I'm concerned. So if they can do that, I think they can just do thirds on this. I mean, Robin and Cody are fine. They'll chop down trees, they'll sell guns, they'll do what they have to. They'll put Robin maybe on Cameo or something.
No, Cody charges so much money for cameos.
Well, he's gonna have to cut that price down a little bit, but
Is he though?
well, I don't know. He's got the $1 million house. I guess you're right, but he's making such terrible financial decisions anyways. Why would Cody be in charge of all this money? Cody really thought he was doing something by going behind everybody's back to talk to this realtor guy, but both Meri and Janelle are confused because the man's just not communicating with them. Meri tried to email them and say, hey, let's meet up and talk in a week. And apparently he was like, well, I've been talking to the right people. And she's like, but I'm the right people and I don't know what's going on. See, I think Cody thought he was really doing something with that. Like that was him communicating with them by telling them that he's already doing something. But when you're not married to these people anymore and you don't communicate with them at all, you kind of have to tell them what's going on for them to know. And then you can't be surprised when they are annoyed with you.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get over that. And then Cody had a lot of great sound bites this episode. I think this was his Emmy-winning episode, honestly.
About the 3rd time in my life I ever went skinny dipping, and it was with my family.
He did really well.
But when it's full, it's fun.
I mean, not really well for everybody, but he had quite the perspective. He doesn't care what people think of him at this point anymore. He doesn't care what his ex-wives think of him. He knows he's the villain. He's fine with being the villain at this point. He knows there's nothing he can do about it. So I think he is just sort of being really authentic, especially in his confessionals or whatever, because Robin's not there to close his mouth. So he can really say a lot.
I bet they had her in the other room just like watching and listening, and she's probably in there pulling her hair out and stuff.
Yeah, very true.
He does take her down with him. He says, not my fault you ladies left me holding the bag. And Robin doesn't know what to do with it either. And it's like, what?
Yeah. That's true.
Do these public figures not realize that they sound completely insane sometimes? Like, who talks like that? Giving the text that Blake Lively did to that Justin Baldoni guy, where she's like, I am like Khaleesi, who she has dragons, and I can release my dragons, and they're good for the both of us. Like, do you guys not realize you don't sound well? Like, you sound like a villain in a movie. Like, what are you talking about?
I know.
Left me with the.
We're going off
But
the
you can
rails
tell
here.
Kody actually loves the fact that he is holding on to this land. I think that he loves having these women on a hook. The reason now that they have to keep talking to him is that he has the bag, as he's saying, sorry you left me with the bag. Well, dude, you've always been in charge of the bag, apparently.
Cody's not mad at all.
No, he loves this. I think he's loving like the way he's talking about Janelle wanting to destroy him at every move. Like, that's literally how I feel like he feels. A lot of this feels like projection. Whatever he's saying about them, I feel like is how he feels. Look at him.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that look on his face since he said Duran. Like, this man's in his element right now.
We do hop into a scene momentarily of it's brief. They'll hop on a call together so that Janelle can tell Christine about her wonderful news that she is going to be a flower farmer. So they're going to be flower farmers.
Yes. Well, I love that for Janelle. It sounds like she was always going to be a flower farmer and she was just going to do it in greenhouses. But now they have 156 acres. These people are fighting over 14 acres right now. Imagine if they gave Kody 156 acres to mess with. This man is fuming right now seeing Janelle get all this land.
I know. Janelle's getting her comeuppance and Christine is just glowing up. I feel like every time we see her, she's more and more beautiful. Her hair just gets blonder and more golden every time I see her. And her skin is radiant. She just literally glows with happiness. And now I think Janelle is about to start doing that as well. Now that she's going to start finding her place. She loves to be with her grandkids. She loves to be with Maddie. Now they're going to have this big, huge piece of land.
Huge. They're gonna build a stadium, cabins, flower farms.
She was so cute. She goes, I was just laying in bed one day and I just thought, flowers. I'm gonna be a flower farmer.
Flower Janelle. I got my calendar, but we're not gonna probably be filming Sister Wives in May. So this is the one for May, Janelle and her flower farm.
True, you're right.
Look at her. It's the cutest one in here.
We love it. What does it say?
It says April showers bring May flowers for flower farmer Janelle. And nothing's all weird or misspelled either, because Janelle, for the most part, speaks pretty normal. But when you get to Meri or Robin's cards, you see Rill and Dell and
I love the Dell.
Well, since we have it up, this is January's month, and you can see Robin plotting in the back of how to split these people up.
Yeah, I love the little Robin details.
All of the little details. Yeah, you really can feel her presence, kind of like when she did that little picture, Christine's picture, but she put herself and her kids in it. She's kind of like doing that.
Exactly. She what is it? Like you just
rewriting history. Queen of rewriting history. This literally made photos and wrote herself in there.
Wrote herself into history that she did not yet exist in.
But she wants to accuse everybody this season of rewriting history.
I know. Even Kody. She was accusing Kody of it too.
I hope she took a good long look at that photo on the way out before she had that conversation about rewriting history.
Did you tag me in the thing about those junk journals or whatever being like $300 on Etsy, or did I just see that?
No, I think you must have seen it.
Oh my god.
It depends. You can get them for cheaper than that.
I'm sure you can too. I'm sure you're right. But they zoomed in on the one that she had, and then they showed the same one on Etsy.
Oh shoot! So she might have paid $300 for Meri's junk journal. Why didn't she just give Meri $300? They owe her it anyways.
It was $295, but I'm sure with shipping,
it seems like a ridiculous gift that Meri probably just put.
Meri said in a recent ET or podcast or some interview that she did that she doesn't even know where it is anymore.
$300.
She literally said that.
Had she known it was $300, she probably
would have sold it.
I don't know. We've seen Meri hold on to some things for some long periods of time.
I think Meri has a bitterness of Robin so much, and now that she doesn't need to be friends with Robin in order to maintain her love for Kody, then I don't think there's any reason for those women.
But you know what, Meri? It's your fault.
It's your fault. It's also your time. So Janelle is super excited. She says, this is much better than my little split of 14 acres. She even laughed. She said, I thought I was going to build a greenhouse. This is way better. I brought you the pea. But you were so grumpy about it the last couple episodes.
Well,
I
it's
figured
because Parowan is not like a city that's just on the map. Like, why do they need this big ass P that they're going to show me every single time they show Meri? Like, I don't know where I'm at by the looks of Meri.
on the bottom.
For God's sakes. And they even Yep. So P is for Parowan. We're back with Meri, and she's talking to Jen on the porch still about this land still, but pretty much about all the things that she put into the finances and stuff like that. So Meri's been paying equally into the family funds and all those things, but because she has one child, she has to also pay for all of her children's needs as well on the side. So she was not paying for Leon's college or Leon's cars or any of those things, but she was also putting money into the family fund. Now, she doesn't know exactly where that money was going because I'm assuming Kody is the only one with access to that, because you would think his legally married wife would have access to those statements. But
you would think, because we definitely confirmed in this episode that none of the other wives did, because Christine said she could never write her own checks when she wanted to do things. So you would think the legal wife could, but it seems more and more so that either she could not or she chose not to because of probably the way that Kody was treating her. Like, she didn't want to impose or make waves by asking for money, especially when she brought in her own money. So I feel terrible for Meri. This situation, I don't think there's anything she can do about it legally. I mean, I don't even know if she would want to, but it is awful. Kody treats her as if she deserves less. Except on the other end of the coin, she contributes equally, if not more, from the other wives, and then takes less because she deserves less. I don't know what the word is there, but ipso facto, Meri got the least out of this whole situation. She has supported children, properties, businesses, finances for 20 plus humans at various stages in life, and has gotten literally nothing in return as of this moment of filming. Nothing.
yeah,
And all
not
that
even
she's
the
asking,
relationships at the end of it.
none of them, barely even her own child. And all she's asking for, and she feels bad sometimes. Thank God for Jen. All she's asking for is this little tiny bit of land back that she invested in equally. It's just insane. I feel so bad for her.
She's asking Kody all the time, like, do you need me to help with something so we can get the ball moving on this? And in his confession, be like, well, then you do the paperwork, blah, blah, blah. You got all these complaints now and whatever. Sure, if your complaint is the paperwork and somebody's offering to help you, why don't you have her help you with the paperwork? Oh, is it because you don't want everybody to get an equal share? It's because you want Robin to get her equal share?
What did she contribute to that? Because she has 5, 6 kids now.
Yeah, if we're going off a hierarchy of kids, if Meri's going to be judged on that basis, technically, Robin only bore 2 of your children. I mean, Janelle and Christine have her beat regardless. So why weren't they treated better than Robin? Wouldn't Robin be the third on the scale then, if the level of children equals the level of importance?
Possible, but you know, Kody and Robin decided together to rewrite history, and they decided that those were Kody's kids.
Yep. Everything is when it's convenient for him.
Yeah, so true. So they left us on a little bit of a cliffhanger. They're about to talk about Meri dating, but that doesn't come up until later.
It's nice to see Janelle with her little weed plant in the back.
What is that?
It does
Is
look
that
like
for the holidays?
I don't know. But I wouldn't blame her. She is so excited to be doing this. And I don't know where she's at, because I thought she's living with Maddie. Maybe she's at her apartment in Flagstaff or something. But we also find out in this little exchange that Christine and David bought a house in Moab for Airbnb. I would love to actually go. I think
That
it's
would be so
really
fun.
cool. But I love that they're doing all these little side businesses. I think Christine is right. You know, the show's only going to last so long. So you need to find other things to do to supplement income, especially, you know, both of them have 6 kids. Honestly, maybe I'm just crazy, but I think when you have a family with that many kids, I think it's almost impossible to pay for everybody's college and cars and all these things. Like, why didn't you just instill have your kids get a job if they want to pay for a car? You know, like, I don't think there's
Or
something.
getting loans.
Yeah, like, I'd rather prioritize the college over the cars. Like, probably instill a work ethic in your kids and stuff. I mean, they're not polygamous; they'll get jobs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for car, for sure. Yeah. And if you want to go to college, parent can help. But yeah, if you have 18 kids, then, you know, you get maybe your first year paid for or something like that if you're really trying to help. I mean, nobody did any of that for me.
I'm just not understanding why there's only like 2 little kids at this point and why they still think they needed to pull the family funds for this long. Like, I get it when it was just the older kids going off to school and everything like that, but eventually all these kids are going to go off to school.
Yeah.
Why would Meri be putting in equal amounts for all these kids, especially if she doesn't have much of a relationship with them? And if you're going to have Meri around as a cash cow, you at least got to be doing something for her. Like, play your part, Cody.
Well,
Either do your act or like, you can't have everything. You can't have the cash cow and not be doing anything for her. Like,
I agree. I definitely agree. I think the family fund though was like a LLC. I don't think it was just for the kids and for a living. I think they were funding businesses off of this
And
because
property.
apparently and property and whatever because apparently Janelle had started a business that, you know, we haven't really heard much about and I don't think we'll ever hear much about. I think she likes it that way. But, you know, it seems like there was other things that were being funded. I know Cody has had a lot of businesses that don't get talked about. So I think the family fund was funding a lot of that stuff.
Everything.
And again, Meri contributing to all of that and getting nothing back. At first, when I was thinking about her saying, I didn't ask for alimony and blah, 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 in my head, I'm like, well, nobody else did. And that would be kind of ridiculous. Imagine Cody having to pay alimony to 3 different women. But Meri was married, but it was years ago. But I feel like Meri probably out of anyone deserves it if anyone asked for it.
I don't even think she could get it. I think she makes more than them. But there was this moment, I don't know if you caught it, where Janelle, I think it was talking about in the FLD whatever cult, you know, women weren't allowed to do this and this, but in our cult is what the vibe was. Like, we can make our own financial decisions, but it's like, no, you had to pretty much go across a board. You had to go up to a board of people and like Christine said, everything took forever to make decisions. Yeah, and then like you couldn't really just go off and do things on your own. But side note about Janelle's little side business is that Cody feels entitled to some of the profit of that. It's like, this should be going in the family fund, you know, because the family funds help start it. Sir, what is the family fund to you right now? It's just you and Robin. You're not giving Meri a dime. Like, what do you mean? What family fund? Her money can go to her and her kids. But what family fund is there now? Are you just asking for money for you and Robin and your kids? Because when were you ever giving Meri money through the family fund?
Never.
And Christine's gone. So who else is there? It was just like, what are you saying, man?
Yeah.
And then Cody's got this complex about being in charge too. So he's like, Meri wants a man who wants to take charge, but then she wants to be in charge. So I don't know how it's going to work out for her. But then all in the same breath, last episode, I'm a monogamist now, so Robin gets to make some rules. Oh, when you're running a business with all plural wives, the man needs to be in charge. Like, what is this? What is this obsession with being in charge? Why can't people just exist and make decisions? And
every single episode, Cody comes up with a new reason why his marriage didn't work out. In this episode, he decided it was because he was not in charge of everything. So he's making sure through the sale of this land, he's in charge.
Well, it sounds like he was because he was the only one who had access to the bank account.
He had access to the bank account, but Cody never really operated as a true patriarch. You know, he never said this is the way it is and it's going to be this way. He sat down with his wives and listened to every single one of their complaints and needs and wants day after day after day until it was daunting for all of them. And I actually, as a woman, as someone who the patriarchy, excuse my French, I don't think you can run plural marriage if you have a man and a bunch of wives without the man being in charge. Somebody has to be in charge. And I think whether it's a woman and a bunch of men or a man and a bunch of women, the people who are married to the one person, like they all need to be equal. We've talked about this a lot. They need to feel equal. They need to have equal roles and responsibilities. But the person they're married to needs to be in charge. And we've talked about that a lot too. Like Cody needed to make a lot of decisions that he just flat out didn't make. And that resulted a lot of times in people not getting their needs met in the family. So that's why all the women became more and more independent. All the families individually started individualizing and not hanging out anymore because Cody wasn't keeping them together. He did have to be in charge of my sister wives closet because nobody liked Robin at the time.
Well, that's his biggest regret. Isn't that weird that that's the business he regrets? And it's only because it was Robin's business, so he regrets not being supportive. But he don't regret not helping Meri get her little B&B.
That business would not have ever thrived no matter how much support was behind that business.
We'll see all of the little details of the daffodil and the rose, just a lot of 3D detailing.
It was terrible business. It was overpriced jewelry. It wasn't pretty. No.
Even Robin trying to sell it, but
No,
she
I
was
think
just
Cody
like,
was.
look at all the details. The
Just a lot of 3D detail,
detailing. It's real. It's real silver. 47 karat silver. Like what?
Oh, you know what we do get this episode though, when we go back to Coyote Pass, is we finally get Cody saying somewhere, and I have it in writing now, and so do we all. When he sells, he's going to divide the money 4 ways. Again, I know we went over the whole, it probably should be split 3 ways if we're being really real and fair here, but the women have spent the whole damn episode being worried about what Cody's going to do. And I do think Cody's going to be his version of fair, not our version of fair.
Well, he wants to torture them the whole way there to the end. Like, he could easily just email that to them. Like, hey,
he's aware of his ideas right now.
I plan on splitting this 4 ways.
Yep.
I'm having a guy come out and look at it. I'll let you know what he says. No, what does he respond with? Very vague, like, I've been talking to the rat people. Like, what? Especially when someone's trying to get a meeting for you to talk to them about it. It's like, what do you mean? No, we still need to talk for a realtor guy. I mean, he was dressed like Steve Irwin, but that's why I'm like, how is this a real person? He's dressed like Steve Irwin. He's a good looking guy, but he's a realtor hanging out with Cody, and he seems pretty enthusiastic with Cody. I don't know, just the things he had to listen to and the way he had to just be like, yup, okay. Chef's kiss, man. I'm surprised that he didn't blurt out laughing at any point, because that would have been really difficult for me.
I think that's why he was being so animated. Sometimes you can get away with not laughing by being really sarcastic, because no sane person can sit there and listen to Cody just act like that's normal.
Randomly slipping in these trauma dumps. Yeah, we got this lot over here, this lot. That's the lot that I lost my other ex-wife on. My other one lived over here in a trailer. Never do that for your marriage. But then, we got this pond over here. We got stuff over there. And it's like, why are you slipping in all these random things this man doesn't need to know? In fact, you might not want to tell people the bad things about your property. I'm pretty sure he disclosed the tree thing to whoever he sold to. He was probably dumping it in like that random trauma dump. Oh yeah, we got this beautiful lake. You got a beautiful view right here through the trees. Oh, I dropped one of those trees on the roof actually.
But I drop trees all day, so I'm good. I figured it out.
Yeah. Man, it's just all over the place. But he's just so happy to be around another man, so I guess I'll give him a little bit of that. We only see him like this when he's around cross-eyed man at this point. So
it's true. Christine is going to move forward on this Moab rental, and she's going to round up a couple of her adult children to come and move.
Just loved when she said, we don't have to get into the 50 million other times that I've moved because this is different. Thank you, Christine. We don't need to get into the other 50 million times that you've moved because we've watched most of them.
And yet they still gave us at least 3 flashbacks. So thank you.
But no one commented on it, sister wives wise. So
that's true. Cody. Yeah. And actually they commented on it here in real life, which I thought was funny to see the kids kind of talk about, especially way back in the day when they were getting kicked out of Utah. And that was a really traumatizing thing for them, especially Peyton. I mean, the way that he took that back then was hard. It was really hard to see his little baby face because he was sitting right behind Cody. So you could just see the reality set in as soon as Cody told them that they were leaving, and they were leaving like the next day. It's cool to see them in real time and not in these back and forth confessionals talk about that, especially the kids.
I know that they're not friends, but it looks like Christine might be buying her hoodies from Meri. But she is wearing a Meri hoodie.
She is. You're right.
So maybe.
I peeped that. You're right. We hop back over to the front porch with Jen. And Jen and Meri are finally starting to talk a little bit about Meri's dating life, which we were anticipating was coming up here soon. So I think Amos is coming soon. I don't know if he'll be on the actual show, but he was in all her Instagrams. So maybe we might see an honorable mention of this man.
Amos, banana, famous, famous, Amos. And that's about how fast he lasts, too.
What was Amos's situation? Was he widowed and ready to diddle, or he was just single and ready to mingle?
I just think he was single. Wasn't he divorced? We did a whole video on Amos.
Well, yeah, that would be single and ready to mingle.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. Obviously, Meri doesn't want to be a polygamist anymore. Actually, not obviously. I'm a little bit surprised because she was very committed for a while. Almost as committed as Janelle. But I think you say it with a straight face. Why is it bad that you laugh when you say that? What is going on?
I just think Meri's like a weirdly awkward person. I think she gets on like a tangent when she thinks she's making a funny, just like the turkeys thing. That was weird. I felt uncomfortable watching her talk about, well, he signed up to like all of our turkeys minus sweet, hers is savory. Like, she's just weird sometimes. So I just think
you're
everything
right.
that makes her feel awkward, she just plays into it too much.
She kind of does get under my skin in that way, and people like that do kind of get under my skin. So I think you're right. That's probably what it is. She has this tendency to sort of overdo things sometimes. I don't know.
Female Cody.
She's so the female Cody. Back over to Christine, and
And
they
David's cute shared office.
It is really cute. Okay, I am so happy to see them living their life. I'm glad that they got this little house or whatever in Moab, but it still just felt so produced and rehearsed, and everything was in a confessional. This is what I want. I want computer to computer, David and Christine sharing sketches, talking about their plans. It's the best thing ever.
Oh, well, Peyton's hair could definitely relax. But
No, I was wondering that the whole reason I left this, actually, since you brought it up when I showed it real quick, isn't it giving Cody vibes, but like a blowout? Like right.
the apple does not fall that far from the tree.
It's giving Cody.
It is giving Cody with his
It's
hair
giving
like that.
Cody meets DJ Pauly D.
Well, he's got like Cody's like right here too, which
He
doesn't
he is Cody. I'm
just way
sorry.
taller and gingerer.
He has a temper like Cody.
Yeah.
He is Cody.
Just way
He's gonna
taller.
treat women better, but he is Cody.
Not saying that Christine's actively trying, but isn't it kind of giving like that Christine wants like a HGTV show, her and David, like remodeling houses and stuff like that. Like she's like, oh, David has his drywall business of 40 years. Like it's almost giving like Chelsea and Cole.
I think it could be. I think you're onto something there. I think maybe they're trying to make it look like we could easily slide into something like this, whether it's him building or even just TLC continuing to follow the two of their lives and maybe they're merging within business and family. I think that could even be a show on TLC continuing, but being no longer sister wives, or like you said, like HGTV could probably very easily pick up a David and Christine and have them renovate some stuff.
As long as there's not conflicting contracts or anything, because like she's got all these floor plans, which like why didn't they just let her write up the floor plans for Meri's wet bar?
I think this is for furniture. I think this is where she wants all the furniture they bought to go, because they bought a house. You know, I'm sure they might do some little bit of rearranging, but the house is already planned. I think this is for furniture. Christine is capable of a lot of things. The sky is the limit for her.
Yeah.
The final scene that we have here is Cody sitting on the damn land, contemplating his life, wondering exactly what he's going to do. This really is the one that it boils down to.
Well, isn't it just so convenient that he gets to sit there and make the decision without contacting the other partners involved? He's even speaking for Robin at a lot of times, which I'm sure she would not be happy about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He made sure to let Justin know, you won't be in contact with these other women. You'll be in contact with me, and you'll have to trust, and they'll have to trust that I do the right thing. At least he said on camera that he was going to do the right thing, but he's still maintaining this flow of information. He maintains a patriarchy just enough to keep the bag that he wants to bitch about. Other than that, he doesn't secure anybody.
He just loves holding on to that bag. He loves having something over these women's heads. He loves the fact that he's still getting emails for them once a quarter to ask about the land. Just loves it. That's why his name is on every single piece.
Yeah, because he doesn't want them to do a thing without his awareness. It doesn't necessarily mean that he wants to be in charge of it or have anything specific happen, but he wants to know exactly what's happening with these women. There's some rumors going on, and I haven't seen this actually play out yet on the show, so we'll see. It is to come. But once Janelle does move, she doesn't tell Cody, and Cody's going to find out from producers, from secondhand knowledge. And I think there's only so long that these women are going to want to stick around and have Cody be informed of all of their decisions and moves and behavior.
I don't blame him. Look at recently. I mean, he just bought and sold a house that was used with family funds to buy. Yeah. Did Meri or Janelle get a portion of that? I'm sure they didn't. Robin's house was bought with family funding. So anything that came out of that sale should have been split, but of course it's not. And he's still holding on to Coyote Pass. So he's able to buy and sell a whole different home with a whole different wife in like the matter of months to a year or something. And he still has not let go of this land as far as I know. He just loves hanging on to this. It's a great storyline for him. It's a great way for him to confuse everybody, get them fighting with each other. And Yeah, I'm just glad that it looks like we're gonna be seeing Janelle and Meri partnering up. Wouldn't that just be great that all this time, all these years they hadn't gotten along? It took common enemy for them to really see that they could be friends all along. And that is the beauty of Sister Wives.
It is. It truly
That's what we
is.
watched the show for.
I know. And really to see Christine and Janelle the way that they are now and continuing their family together and really making intentional efforts to see each other. I think that is also the beauty of Sister Wives. Like, how amazing is it to have somebody in your life that was basically married to you for the last 30 years, and now you get to spend your golden years with them and actually live out your dreams and have the funds to do it, the means to do it, the freedom to do it. Janelle and Christine are living their best lives. I think Meri's going to be joining them very, very soon, if not already. And Cody and Robin can suck it. You're just going to live in their big, ugly house with this shy, pretty wife and whatever. Quiet, tiny family, submissive children.
Polygamy is a gorgeous thing. Everyone should do it.
One point, everyone sits on the porch with the sister wives and has the perfect Christmas.
Love should be multiplied, not divided. I did this for the family, not the man.
Well, now you only have the man and no family.
That was Christine who said that one.
Well, she only has the man and all the family.
Anyway, so what do we got next time?
Meri and Jenelle are going to start to get a little bit worried about what's going on at Coyote Pass because it sounds like they still have not yet been informed. So they're going to hop on a call and start talking to each other. Hopefully this episode or the next episode after that is when maybe they meet on the land to talk to each other, because we did see a little teaser of them two on the land getting spicy. Christine is going to show David the house and she's extremely nervous. I'm sure everything is going to go totally fine. Robin is going to go to Coyote Pass with Cody and the kids. It looks like they're going to have some strange bonfire and whatever. Baby sobbins, every time I see them, it's just sad. So we'll see how that goes. It makes Cody not want to leave, and it reminds me of, is that movie, The Wolf of Wall Street? He's like, I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
I don't know. I don't think we've heard that Coyote Pass is for sale. I know he just had this conversation with
I think
Justin.
he's still holding on to like this. I think he's still going back and forth with them. I think this is very current, and I think that he's still being a pain in the ass. But I hope that Janelle and Meri go to the property before this little bonfire thing and we see them there, because wouldn't it be just so funny if somebody found like a little remnant of them, like they left a water bottle or something, and then Cody's like, who was he?
Robin would be like, Janelle, she left a sign.
One of the little mini Sobbin's gonna sniff out like a lost item of Meri's or Janelle's on their little walk or their footprints. They'll be like, I see women's size 10 footprint.
Bigfoot. She's alive.
Meri's in the trees. Meri's print. She must be in the trees.
She is. Oh, man.
Meri loves the trees. All right, Chick Chat. Thank you for listening. Remember to like, subscribe, share.
Click the share button.
Reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, and goodbye, and subscribe.